Hello everyone. The festive season is officially over and it's time to resume our routines. I have not done a video in a while, but not because of the festivities. The fact is I'm facing a fight. I'm fighting for her life. This cat was living out in the streets when I rescued her 8 years ago. She was about 5 years old when it happened. A few weeks ago she stopped eating and she lost a lot of weight. Not noticeable at first because she's very furry. She spent 5 days in hospital just after Christmas. We found out that she has a severe heart condition and I have to medicate her twice a day. If you want a cat, you know how hard it can be, as they are so stubborn. But that is the least of our problems because she still refuses to eat and I have to feed her with a syringe. So we have been spending a lot of time together, both of us. No drama though, just a good deal of worrying and a few additional routines. But it's time to get going with this video. Today we are taking a look at the orchids I'm keeping outdoors through winter. They are all Dendrobium over this side. We have been getting 16 Celsius, which is 60.8 Fahrenheit during the day. Mind you, those have been sunny, dry days, which makes a lot of difference. Same temperature with the rain, seems a lot cooler. At night, it drops to 6 Celsius, which corresponds to 42.8 Fahrenheit. However, there will be a drop in the next few days for night temperatures of 4 Celsius, which is 39.2 Fahrenheit. The way this Dendrobium withstand my winter temperatures is very important to me, so that I can decide which new orchids to buy next growing season. I like Dendrobium, and if they do well out here, I still have plenty of space for more, even for larger plants. I'm determined to be very selective in the future because there is a limit to how many plants, how many orchids I can accommodate in the house in winter, so that it will be a comfortable manner for me to take care of them without stressing myself or stressing the orchids. Let's take a look and see how they are going. This is Dendrobium aggregatum. This one is a warm to intermediate grower during the growing season, but cool from fall to winter. It is occasionally watered and sometimes misted, no feed at all, of course. I only bought this one early October and it looked pretty much like it is now, doing nothing. But I believe it's alright, not even know if this is a mature plant. Time will tell. This is Dendrobium crocatum. It's a member of the section Calcarifera of the Dendrobium genus. It's native to the lowlands of Thailand and mainland Malaysia. This orchid needs strong light and is an intermediate to warm grower in need of cooler winters. The American Orchid Society recommends a minimum of 55 Fahrenheit, that is 12.7 Celsius. Well, maybe I'm stretching it too far. We shall see. I'm willing to risk it. Many times plants are more resilient than we think. The orange flowers should occur in spring after a dry winter, but I only bought this plant last summer, so it never flowered for me. I water it occasionally, although the moss around the root seems to be kept dry. And I also spray it once in a while because my winter has less humidity than the summer. Strange as it may seem, that is what happens. The canes are a bit wrinkled, but that is the way they are supposed to be, if what I search is right. This one is Dendrobium tortile of section Dendrobium in the Dendrobium genus. In this section, well-known species are also included, like the nobile types, the moniliform, the Finlianum, Parisi, Anosman, Fimbriatum, and others. These are often referred to as soft cane species. This one is native to Thailand, and the flowers are very beautiful, if I ever can make it bloom. The plant came in last summer, and there were two plants in the same pot. One of them alright, the other one quite flimsy. This one now is Dendrobium stardust Kiyomi. This orchid is usually sold as a nobile type, however, it has only about 12% nobile in it. It has quite beautiful flowers, but it's fussy and prone to grow cakeys. This one looks quite vigorous in comparison to another one I had before, and which went to the heaven of plants, but it served its purpose. I learned a few things about this Dendrobium, and I know it likes to be kept cooler in the summer with low light, and this one seems quite happy with the cooler temperatures this time of the year. The new canes already have something going on. I hope these are buds. I have been very careful keeping it cooler and in low light during the summer, and keeping it on the dry side since temperatures got cooler. The nodes on these two canes have been used up with previous blooming before my time, as this plant only came to me last summer. This is another recent acquisition. It's the result of a crossing of two species included in the densiflora section of Dendrobium. Species included in this section have pendant inflorescences. The names of the parents are on the screen now. This one should be kept drier during the cooler months, but not completely dry for too long. So I missed it a few times a week when I remember to keep the plant from drying out, especially because my humidity is low. This one is Dendrobium aphyllum. It's not a vigorous plant, never was, and it is not just one plant, it's two. There were two plants in the same pot when I bought it. I've been keeping it fairly dry because it lost its leaves long ago, and I hope it's just dormant, not dead. Let's see. Another sorry looking one. This is Dendrobium unicum. It came from Orchid Garden in the last summer, in a miserable state. This one is a miniature Dendrobium, and his canes are supposed to be thin, but I very much fear he will not make it. I hope I'm wrong. As a curiosity, I can tell you that this species unicum is the seed parent of stardust, which you can see here. This one is Comet King, a nobile type Dendrobium. These canes are showing some signs of nubbins. Hopefully they are buds. My nobile are grown in semi-hydro, but I'm keeping them fairly dry during this cold season. I have not filled up their deposits in several weeks. I just spray the leaves and the top of the pots once in a while. Another nobile type here. This is Irene Smile. I bought it 2 years ago in August, and he was blooming out of season. It did not develop much at first, refused to grow during the first year in my care. Last summer, however, it settled down, and now I can see some buds forming on his newer canes. The third and last one of my nobile is Spring Durima pollen. At first I had some problems with this one, mealybugs and massive production of cakeys and very few blooms. But last summer it took off and grew a few canes. Hopefully the signs of nubbins we can see on the canes are buds. That would be good for a change. This one is my Dendrobium kingianum. When I was preparing to give him a winter rest, he said, "No, I don't want one," because he was starting to bloom. There are several spikes here in different stages of growth. The flowers last quite long. And I can say that this one is dealing quite well with the cold nights. I moved it in the house when the first chilled nights arrived, but it looked like he was not enjoying it, so I moved it back here, and he appreciated that and doing so fine. The only issue I have with this plant are the bitings on the newer leaves. I could never figure out what was the cause. I sprayed it twice with insecticide, but the bites continued to enlarge, and they only stopped when I brushed these leaves with magnesium milk, which I buy in the pharmacy and which has helped me in some occasions. Kingianum we just saw is one of the parents of the next one, Dendrobium berry. I've had this plant for quite some time, always doing well, but 2 years ago it produced lots of cakeys and no blooms. It was getting some direct sun and too much fertilizer, I suspect, because those were the aspects I corrected, and now this orchid is blooming profusely. There are several spikes here in different stages of development, which is very nice. This is a lovely little plant. Now this one comes with a surprise. This was the first Dendrobium hibiki I bought, and was the one I gave away as a present to a friend that came to visit me. And later I got another one for myself. This one was on a mount. However, my friend got very sad when she saw the plant losing all of its leaves. So she returned the plant to me. I took the plant from the mount and placed it in this pot with orchiata bark and left it here in the cold. And look at that! Each little cane has a nubbin or an eye, whatever. In time we shall see what it is if they continue to develop. Really, it's a surprise. This is the last one here. It's Dendrobium lodigese or lodigesiae. Anyway, the pronunciation is irrelevant, although I must say it's easier for me to understand these Latinized terms, speaking a Latin originated language like I do. Anyway, this orchid did not go well during the summer. It was not a big plant when I bought it, but should have grown better. Maybe it didn't like to be mounted. At the arrival of fall, I placed her here in this basket with a bit of moss on the top. Only the top layer is moss. It is like a bit below, just to give height. I've been watering this plant regularly through the winter. I don't want her to die, and I hope she will grow better next growing season. And this is the end of this update. I'll be back shortly with another video. Bye bye!